Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sunflower Squad podcast. I'm Lena Clark, an expert level user experience researcher with a background in public health. My passion lies in helping users navigate complex systems, making their experiences smoother and more intuitive. Join me as I share the stories and strategies I use to guide users through the ever evolving world of public health, technology, and design. Before we dive in, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to this podcast. It's the single best way to support my mission of bringing good UX to as many users as possible. So, with that said, let's get into today's episode, the basics of UX. As a UX researcher with a background in public health, I often find myself explaining what these fields are and how they impact people's lives. I love sparking these conversations because it gets people thinking about the systems they interact with every day and whether those systems are truly working for them or if they've been falling short. So let's start with the big question. What exactly is UX or user experience? In the simplest terms, user experience is how a person feels when they interact with a product, service, or system. It's not just about how it looks, it's also how easy, enjoyable, or sometimes frustrating that interaction is. Think about the last time that you used a new app or visited a website. When it's designed with good UX, you don't have to think. You just know where to click, how to navigate, and maybe even enjoy the process. Bad UX, it's like trying to wade through quicksand, slow, confusing, and completely avoidable. For example, I tend to avoid fast food rewards apps because when I'm hangry, which is hungry and angry because of how hungry you are, the last thing I want is to fumble through a clunky interface, especially when the restaurant staff doesn't have the tools to make the process smoother. Don't get me wrong, designing an app for something like ordering food or tracking rewards isn't easy. It takes years of research, design, and iteration to create a seamless experience. When it's 95 degrees outside and I'm in a long drive through line, I'm just not along for that ride. Now, I want to clear up one thing that often trips people up. UX and UI, or user interface, are not the same thing. Yes, they're closely related, but they play different roles in the design world. UI is what you see on the screen, the buttons, the colors, the fonts. It's the visual side of things. UX, on the other hand, is how the entire interaction feels from start to finish. A gorgeous interface might draw you in, but if the overall experience is confusing or frustrating, that beautiful design won't matter. It's like having a shiny new car with a confusing dashboard. And I've had those cars before. I'm now pretty picky when I choose a new car because I need a good interface. It may look great, but if you don't know how to turn it on or drive it, the experience is going to fall flat. So, while UI is important, don't get me wrong, UX is what makes sure the product actually works for the user in a meaningful way. UX isn't just a nice to have, it's critical in the world we live in today. Whether you're using an application to order food, navigating a healthcare platform, or even just browsing your favorite online store, UX is happening all around you. Good UX means the product works so well, you almost forget it's there. It just works like a well oiled machine. But when UX goes wrong, that's when you notice it. Maybe you're trying to complete a simple task, like booking a plane ticket, and the website erases all of your information right when you click play. But when UX goes wrong, that's when you notice it. Maybe you're trying to complete a simple task like booking a plane ticket, and the website erases all of your information right when you click pay now. This actually happened to me yesterday. I won't name the airline, but I've experienced the same issues on that site multiple times over the last few years while using completely different devices. It's to the point where I expect it will happen at least once every time I use that website. Frustrating, right? That's the impact of poor UX. It creates unnecessary friction between you and what you're trying to accomplish. On the flip side, great UX feels effortless. It makes your life easier. And when companies get it right, it's a win for both the user and the business. Customers stay loyal, products perform better, and employees work more efficiently. In short, good UX helps everyone. Now, how do we get to that point where the experience is seamless and intuitive? The answer lies in research. You can't create good UX without truly understanding the people who will use your product. That's where UX research comes in. At Sunflower UX, we use both quantitative and qualitative research methods to get a full picture of the user's needs. Quantitative data gives us the hard numbers. How many people click this button? How long did they stay on that page? And so on. But qualitative data, that's where we dig into the why and how. It's all about listening to real users, understanding their pain points, and getting to the heart of their experience. At Sunflower UX, we use both quantitative and qualitative research methods to get a full picture of the user's needs. Quantitative data gives us the hard numbers. How many people click this button? How long did they stay on that page? And so on. But qualitative data, that's where we dig into the why and the how. It's about listening to the real users, understanding their pain points, and getting to the heart of their experience. For me, one of the most rewarding parts of UX research is that it gives a voice to users who might otherwise be overlooked. Whether it's a patient navigating a healthcare system or a business owner trying to improve their website, I love helping people find solutions that make their interactions smoother and more intuitive. Okay, let's take it up a notch and talk about the complex systems. Now, UX for a simple app, like a note taking tool, is one thing. But what about when you're dealing with something more complicated, like a healthcare platform, a financial tool, or a government website? These systems often involve tons of data, multiple user roles, and high stakes tasks. And the reality is, if the user experience is confusing or inefficient, it can have serious consequences. Designing for complex systems is about understanding all the moving parts and making sure they work together seamlessly. Creating a journey that feels natural for everyone involved, whether they're a doctor accessing patient records or a customer service agent pulling up all account details. Designing for complex systems is about understanding all the moving parts and making sure they work together seamlessly. It's about creating a journey that feels natural for everyone involved, whether they're a doctor accessing patient records or a customer service agent pulling up account details. And here's something people don't talk about enough: UX isn't just for your customers, it's for your internal teams too. If your staff is struggling with outdated tools or systems that don't work efficiently, that's bad UX at play. And it's costing your business time, money, and morale. When your internal systems have good UX, your employees are more productive, more engaged, and let's face it, just happier. So when we talk about UX, we need to think beyond the customer. Everyone who interacts with your system, inside and out, deserves a smooth and intuitive experience. So, to sum it all up, user experience isn't just about making things look good. It's about creating interactions that are smooth, intuitive, and actually meet the needs of the people using them. Whether it's a simple app, a complex system, or an internal tool, UX has the power to improve lives by reducing friction and making tasks easier. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Sunflower Squad podcast. I hope you learned a little more about what goes into good UX and why it's so important for both businesses and users alike. If you want to stay updated on all things UX, don't forget to subscribe. If you found today's episode helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up or leave a review. I'm Lena Clark, and I'll catch you in the next episode of The Sunflower Squad. Thanks for listening, and here's to creating more intuitive, user-friendly solutions in the future.